Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam. Welcome back to the 1996 Project. This is another solo episode of the project covering a movie that is, well, a sequel to a movie I've already covered for a separate series on the channel, but one that the deeper I dug into, the more like kind of weird it was. And so I had to enlist some help for this. And so back from the Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight review to review Tales from the Crypt Bordello of Blood with me, it is the head of Why We Love Horror Trivia. It's John Marr. John, welcome back. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to be here. I am a huge fan of the Tales from the Crypt, like branding in general, like from the comics to the TV show to the original 70s movie to Demon Knight, and then there's Bordello of Blood, but it's fine.
Yeah, well, let's just get right into it now. This is Tales from the Crypt Bordello of Blood.
Right here.
Tales from the Crypt presents Bordello of Blood.
This was directed by Gilbert Adler. It starred Dennis Miller, Erika Eleniak.
Yep, Erika Eleniak. People who grew up in the 90s know exactly who she is.
Angie Everhart, Chris Sarandon, and Corey Feldman. And it tells the story of a private detective played by Dennis Miller who is hired to find the brother of a woman named Catherine, who is played by Erika Eleniak. I'm going to struggle with that all night. I'm sorry, but I'll do my best. What they find is the brother, but, well, a lot of vampires too, but we'll get to that. So, John, I love asking my guests this, but did you see this in theaters or later?
Not only did I see it in theaters, I was actually working in the theater when this came out. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's how old I am. So I was a teenager working in the theater when this came out, and I saw it in the theater. Yeah.
Well, I think that's really cool. Number one, and number two, this movie got trashed when it got released. Like Dennis Miller even said in interviews, "Don't go and watch this." And I'm not familiar with his comedy. I don't know if he's being a troll. I'm going to plead ignorance on that. Point is, this was not received all that well, and it pretty much killed, from what I read anyway, a planned Tales from the Crypt trilogy. It was Demon Knight, this, and one other one.
Miller, he's another Saturday Night Live guy, obviously. He's the conservative comic amongst the Saturday Night Live folks. Nothing against conservative comedy. But, when you had, Chris Rock and Adam Sandler and all these people, putting out movies that were, blockbusters, basically, and then Dennis Miller is not... He's not that type of comedian, where his comedy's going to carry a movie. He's definitely suited for talk shows, which he had. I don't think he was the right guy for this job.
I couldn't agree more. He did have some funny moments, though. I want to be fair. There was one where, near the very end, where he's trying to get Catherine out of the way because Corey Feldman has turned full vampire at this point. We'll get to that. But it's like, this is the worst thing I have ever seen. He looks up, he sees Feldman at the top, that is the second worst thing I have ever seen. It made
I feel like he was allowed to ad lib. I mean, he's definitely a good comedic mind. Clearly, Lorne Michaels doesn't pick no trash. But and I feel like they let him ad lib because I don't think this director did a ton. I think this is his only feature-length directorial credit. So I imagine Dennis Miller was allowed to do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, this is his only directorial. This is his only director credit. He produced Superman Returns, Valkyrie, 13 Ghosts. So he's more of a producer, and he produced Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. So there's your connection right there.
Right.
But then...
I'd say the performances, though, Dennis Miller is basically he's just Dennis Miller. He's not Rafe Gutman. He's Dennis Miller. And that's it. If you're a fan of his his witty one-liners and his comebacks, you're gonna get plenty of that in this movie. Is he an action star? No.
No, definitely not. He was just kind of hit or miss to me. Like you said, he had the one that I just mentioned, and he had a couple of others where I'm like, okay, that was pretty good. But for the rest of the time, I didn't think he was clued in as to what movie he was supposed to be in. And it's a shame, really, because William Sadler is also in this as a mummy in 2 scenes. And
William Sadler's great. Yeah.
This would have been perfect for him.
I think the MVP of the movie is Aubrey Morris, who plays the owner of the crematorium mortuary as McCutcheon. He's every scene he's in, he understands the assignment and he hits it. So I'd say out of everybody in this movie, out of all the names you name, people that I recognize, Aubrey Morris is came to play, and he's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in The Wicker Man and a couple other things. He was definitely in The Wicker Man off the top of my head. He was in The Clockwork Orange, yeah, and there's another horror movie, Life Force. Yeah, a few things. Yeah, so he's a vet, and he brought it as the creepy mortuary owner for sure.
Yeah, my biggest positive is just I love like the world. Like I love the titular Bordello. I love that scene. I love how lived in everything feels. I love how they being Feldman and his friend, how they enter the bordello. They get shoved into a coffin. The coffin goes into the flames, but comes out on the other side into the bordello.
Right.
I loved that so much.
And the opening scene, that kind of like it's you think it's just to be another Tales from the Crypt movie opening scene that has nothing to do with the movie. And Phil Fondacaro, who plays Vincent, the dwarf guy, is also really good in this. I should have mentioned him as well. But the lead in actually leads into the movie. And Chris Sarandon does a passable job as like the opposite. It's like you have Fright Night, then you have him playing the exact opposite role in this movie, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, when I saw him, it made me smile because I love Fright Night. I love Nightmare Before Christmas. Like I love he's the prince and the princess bride. So like he's been around. He's done a lot, and like his role is just like I liked him here. Like he's just like the televangelist guy. That's like he plays the guitar. Like plays the guitar. That made me laugh. And he's got like the whole like you shall be sent to hell, Satan, and the big Satan puppet arises from the stage. Like that made me chuckle quite a bit. He's like the light beam of the Lord, or the laser light of the Lord, which is foreshadowing when you first see that, but you don't know it at the time. So like they're like he's fun. Like he's got a name. His name is Current, and I don't know why. I just like that.
Yeah, his initials are JC. To really drive, I think it's like Jackson Current, to really drive home the fact that he is a evangelical preacher.
There you go.
But yeah, I guess the main story is pretty straight. It's a pretty straightforward Tales from the Crypt story. Like, obviously you have a protagonist who's like imperfect, and it's going to eventually lead to his undoing. No, spoiler free. But he is against an ancient 1,000-year-old vampire, Lilith, played by Angie Everhart, who I think for a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, like crossing over into a feature film, does a good enough job.
Yeah, that part was wild. Like I was looking up her stuff, and I'm like, wow. Like she would go on to be in The Nice Guys. She was in like a few other things after this, and I thought she did great. I think I like the opening you mentioned. When that first happened, I'm like, why is this important? It does become important later on. I just thought it would go, oh, the mummy and the crypt keeper during the whole, like, I bet you can't tell a scarier story than me thing. I'm like, okay, that's fun. But, like, it feels like tacked on. Like, we must have Tales from the Crypt somewhere, so might as well be here. But no, she actually does come back and is important. And that opening scene with not the ornament, but like the
key Demon Knight.
Yeah, that one. That one, I thought that was a nice callback, and I liked that whole thing where the guy is like, I'll give you something else to eat if you like do everything I say. And the guy is like, you asshole, like just climb the rope, dude. Come on. You're all
yeah. The only thing that like one of the things I mean, this movie I think is perfectly passable and fair. I don't think I'm hating on this movie. I don't like that they kind of, not that they retcon Demon Knight, but like they destroy the key later on in the movie. And I was like, but that was the only thing keeping the Earth from ending. In Demon Knight. It's like, oh, I can't believe they did that. But I guess they just didn't care at that point.
Yeah, it feels like the continuity is loose at best. I think that's being generous. Another positive I did want to point out was I liked, and this is just me, but I liked the makeup. Like I liked the effects. Like
all the visual effects are top notch, 100%. Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I like when you see the vampires in their final form. It's funny. Like this in '96, this comes out, and From Dusk Till Dawn comes out, and it's like the whole like they both have endings in which everyone goes just rampage mode on a bunch of vampires with holy water. It's great.
Both movies feature super soakers or like large scale water guns filled with holy water too. So it's like they did not talk. That was just a 90s thing. It's like, well, we have to have a super soaker. It's 1996.
Yeah, like it just has to be done. I thought it was only the Lost Boys that did that, but no, there's like two other movies that did something similar. But then, and you have John Kassir as the Crypt Keeper for the beginning and the end, which there's your connection. Always nice to see him. And then you got Corey Feldman, who's like like he's the first character that you see, but then he like gets turned into a vampire, and his inclusion was interesting because like like for me at least, like in my like outside of like this, I saw the Goonies in theaters. I took a date to see the Goonies, and like he's in there. I'm rewatching all the Friday the 13th movies, which he's a big part of later on, and he's in this. So like I can't escape the Feldman. Like he's just everywhere.
Hey, he did a lot of movies in the 80s and 90s. What can I say?
Yes. But I thought he was good. I liked more of when he became when he became a vampire, like when he was a normal person, if that makes sense.
He was kind of despicable as a human and as a vampire, but it's fine. I did like the whole. There was a lot of good, creative, like Bordello-esque kills in this movie as well, and not including when Chris Sarandon and Dennis Miller go ham on the actual Bordello with holy water. When they're actually killing the Johns and stuff, it's pretty neat how they go about doing it.
Yes, and this is just a really weird movie because in the context of when this came out, like this just got torn to shreds, like by critics, audiences. Like you can't even like the only way to find it on streaming is an Amazon rental, which I did to watch this. I like that's what I did, but I don't think there's like any physical media of it out there. I could be wrong, but we're getting a Demon Knight 4K like restoration. It's either out now
as we should.
Absolutely. But the point is, it's like there's this Tales from the Crypt like madness. Like it's on Tubi now. We're getting the 4K thing, and this one just doesn't get talked about. Like people are just actively ashamed of it.
Yeah, usually when you have like a franchise, and I will count Tales from the Crypt as a franchise, and like one is like definitely the inferior like little brother, they kind of pretend it doesn't exist. Because if we put, I mean, you'd say they were going to make a third movie. I consider Bordello of Blood to be the third movie because the original 70s Tales from the Crypt is also very good.
Yes, the Amicus one, if you're referring to, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that movie's great. But that's another story for another time. To kind of put the bow on things here, I'm going to give this a good rating, but a high good rating. I liked this more than I was expecting, and I'm very much in the minority. I'll admit that. It's not the first time recently, but that's another story. There's enough to like here. Good performances, really good effects. It sticks out like a sore thumb, especially when you consider the greater Tales from the Crypt universe, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I would say for me, it's like 80s level camp wedged in the second half of the 90s. So that's exactly why it was hated on. Like this is kind of like it was too old of a thematics for the late 90s. I'm floating around like I like this movie, so I give it like the lowest score for a movie I like. It's like a 3 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, that's what I would do too. But I pass it off to all of you. What did you think of Bordello of Blood? Let us know in the comments. Love to read what you have to say. The reactions to this should be very interesting. But John, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it. You're very busy over at Why We Love Horror. I compete over there sometimes, but like you, Aaron, you're just crushing it. What do you have coming up?
Well, we have a new show that just debuted this past week, and this is taping the week of, I guess, this is August 13th we're taping. So the week of that, we debuted a new show called Informed But Mixed Horror Opinions, or IMHO, where we have two people. It's not a debate, but two people will come on, one that likes a movie, one that dislikes a movie, and we have a civil discourse, and we leave it up to the audience to determine if the movie is good or bad. So if you're interested in that, and you like a movie that everybody hates, or you hate a movie everybody likes, we'd love to have you on to talk about why. With somebody else that disagrees with you. Aside from that, trivia reviews. watching a lot of horror TV. It's all there on Why We Love Horror, WWL Horror here on YouTube.
You know that, and just a bit of a preview there. The first episode is going to be Her Private Hell, which is the new Nicholas Winding Refn movie. I have not seen it. I've been compelled to because I love Drive so much. But man, that movie was it's just like, there's some people who just despise it. I have not seen it, so I can't comment. But
it's very experimental, and some people can't handle experimental, and that's kind of what the whole debate is about, or the whole discussion is about on that show. Yeah.
that's why they call it experimental, I guess. It either works or it doesn't. But the links to Why We Love Horror are down below. Go subscribe to them over there. 1996 Project rolls on. I'll be covering quite an interesting mix of movies in the next couple weeks or so. So stay tuned for all that. But for John, my name is Ryan Cam. See you all in the next one. Y'all take care.